Hi, welcome back to our channel, and in this video we're gonna do something different. I'm gonna share with you things that I've learned from this book. It's Grit, The Power of Passion and Perseverance by Angela Duckworth. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna share things I've learned, and we're gonna focus on the topic how to find your passion. And I haven't finished the book yet, only a portion of it, and only up to that point, up to that chapter. But what I'd like to do with this video is to share the things I've learned so far. So, just a disclaimer, most of the things that I'm gonna share in this video would most likely come from the book. And a little bit of my own interpretation and my own synthesis of the concepts. So, let's start. So, when we hear graduation speeches, we usually hear the advice follow your passion, do what you love. And the author of the book, Angela, said that while that is a good advice, the problem with most of us is that we don't have a passion to begin with. That if majority of us have found our passion, majority of us don't need that advice anymore because in a heartbeat, we would just follow it if we just have a passion in the first place. And what I love about the book is that it's backed by research. It's backed by a lot of interviews. Angela interviews a lot of successful people. And according to research, people who do what they love or their work is their passion, they tend to be happier. They tend to be more productive. And it makes sense, right? That if we do what we love, chances are we're gonna spend more time doing it because it's fun for us. We enjoy what we do. And if we spend more time on it, we invest more time, chances are we're gonna improve faster compared to doing something that we don't really enjoy. So now the question is, how do we foster a passion? So the word here is foster and not find. It's not how to find a passion, but really the question is, how do we foster a passion? Because according to the book, we have unrealistic expectations with regards to passion. Movies have romanticized passion that in order to find our passion, there's this one event in our life that is so life changing that it turns everything around, right? That just one day we wake up and eventually we know what we're gonna do with our lives. We know what we want. But in reality, it doesn't work like that. Passion is not love at first sight. And according to the book, fostering a passion is like finding a partner, right? So if you have, or you're in a relationship right now, or if you're married, it would be unrealistic to say that you're the one and only for your partner or spouse, or your spouse is the one and only for you. That you're the only one that could make that person happy, and that person is the only one for you. Because no one is perfect. And chances are, if we're gonna go back into the past and the two of you didn't meet, chances are you're gonna meet someone else that fits your personality. And chances are you're gonna work things out, and eventually you would be happy. The same with the other person, right? So what we have at the beginning are potential matches. And finding a potential partner is just the beginning, right? For that to turn into love, that takes work, that takes time. And it's the same with fostering a passion. So there's no one and only in passion, right? There's no love at first sight. And chances are, maybe what you're doing right now, you don't consider it a passion, but maybe a few years, it would be your passion, right? It grows. So what we have at the start are potential passion, and they are called interest, right? We have a lot of interest. Maybe some people are interested in cooking, maybe some people are not. Maybe your interest is in animation, 3D animation, motion graphics, dancing, singing. So we could have a lot of interest, and all of those interests, right, could potentially turn into passion. So the question now is, how do we turn our interest into passion? According to the book, for an interest to turn into passion, for an interest to grow, it needs to be triggered and re-triggered. And that makes sense, right? Let's relate it again to relationships. So if you saw a person that you're attracted to and you never meet her again, chances are you're never going to develop those feelings towards her. Because what usually happen in relationships, right, is that you meet a person you're attracted to, and then maybe you meet again someplace else, and maybe you realize that you're classmates or your seatmates, or maybe that is your neighbor, or maybe you go to the same gym. And the more you meet this person, the more your attraction to this person is being triggered and re-triggered again and again. And maybe until one day you ask her out. And I think that's the same with passion. For an interest to grow, it needs to be triggered and re-triggered. And according to the book, that you can't really force yourself to be, you can't force an interest to yourself. You can't just think it, right? You can't just say to yourself, I want to like dancing. You have to really try it out and see for yourself if you really like it or not. And if you do like it, you need to find ways on how to trigger and re-trigger that interest. So what do you do to trigger and re-trigger that interest? So for example, for dancing, you watch dancing videos. You follow dancers on Instagram. You buy a book on dancing. You enroll in classes, dancing classes. You join groups. You find friends with the same interest so that you could talk about it. Because if you find people that you could talk this to, talk your interest, chances are those that interest, that feeling towards a certain interest or field would grow the more you talk about it, the more you do it. And according to the book, that a crew of encouraging supporters plays a crucial role in developing your interest. So what are this crew of encouraging supporters? This could be your family, friends, a coach, a mentor. Surround yourself with people who support you and encourages you in your interests, and that is an important thing for you to develop that interest. So if you have an interest in animation, for example, so if you have a group where they support you, chances are you're gonna stick with it. So it can be summarized that to foster a passion, you would go through 3 stages. The first stage is the discovery stage. The second stage is the development stage. And the third stage is the deepening stage. So in the discovery stage, as I said before, you can't force an interest to yourself. The only way to know if this is really your interest is to try things out. So at the start, explore a lot of things. Try things out. The important thing here is that you're having fun. Before work, there's play. So don't pressure yourself and keep asking yourself, is this the one? Is this my passion? Because if you keep pressuring yourself, you're gonna take away the fun from that. And if you keep asking yourself and you're pressured, you're never gonna find things that interest you. So it's okay to explore a lot of things. It's okay if you have a lot of interest. So just try things out, and as long as you're enjoying doing those interests, keep doing them and see what sticks. The next stage is the development stage, and this is where once you've figured out what your interests are, this is where you would need to trigger and re-trigger those interests. And the last stage is the deepening stage. So in order for us to stick to our interest, we need to, well, be interested on it, right? So before we could discuss that further, we need to discuss the emotion of interest. What is it exactly that we find in our interest interesting, right? And according to the book, that we need to be constantly, we need to find something new. We need to find something that surprises us for us to be interested in it, right? If there's a game or an interest and we have explored everything on it, right? There's nothing else, right? We've explored everything. Then we feel bored, right? And then we would move on to something else. So how then does people who have achieved so much in a certain field, legends in a certain field, like for example in basketball, Michael Jordan, and in other fields, the Michael Jordans of the other fields, right? How do they stick to what they're doing? How do they keep their interest? And according to the book, the answer is to deepen your interest. According to the book, interest is something of novelty. And to the beginner, novelty means something that is new and surprising. But to the expert, novelty is in the nuanced. So nuanced meaning subtle details, small details. And there's an analogy in the book that I really like. It's said by one person that Angela, the author, has interviewed, and she said, I am like a painter, an artist, and I look at the sky and I see different vibrant colors, whereas other people only see blue or gray. And it's a good example, right? That to others, it's just blue and gray, but to the expert, they see this beauty in the nuance, the beauty in the small details. So in order for you to deepen your interest, you need to find novelty in the nuance. You need to be like an artist, right? That you could see those vibrant different colors in the details. So for me, my field is in animation. And maybe to other people, what they see in an animation is it's just moving pictures, moving drawings. But to me, I see a whole different world. I see movement, I see ease, the ease in, the ease out in the animation. I could see the contrast between key poses to key poses. I can see the different spacing in each of the frames. I could see squash and stretch. I could see the smears that making the action look fast. I could see the contrast between slow and fast movements, the ease in and ease out. And all of these details, I find beauty in it. And if you are in that level, if you could now see those vibrant colors in the tiny details, you will realize that this interest of yours is a whole big world. And it's just impossible for you to fully explore it. And that's beautiful. It's always interesting. You will always find something new that you could learn. You'll always discover something new. So to recap, we need first to discover our interest. And once we have discovered our interest, we need to develop it. And then lastly, we need to deepen it for it to be our passion. So at the start, we need to try things out. Don't pressure yourself. And it's actually a good thing to not to stick to only one interest, to try different interests. The book discussed that, and one advantage is that so that you could cross-train, meaning the skills that you have developed in one interest can be applied to a different interest. So for example, nursing and illustration. At first glance, they're totally different fields, right? But in nursing, you learn anatomy, in which you can use in your career as an illustrator. We also have different motivation needs per stage. So, for example, in the discovery stage, we need an encouraging environment. We need an environment that we feel good and safe. As we move towards the development and the deepening stage, it gets stricter and stricter. There needs to be discipline and commitment. We also need different teachers per stage. So, in the discovery stage, we need a teacher or mentor who is encouraging and less strict. As we move towards the development and deepening stage, we need a mentor who is much stricter, someone who would discipline us, and someone that could keep us on track with our progress. And I think that is it for this topic. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you want to buy this book, um, I will leave a link in the description that you could check out. And it's a good book. I haven't finished it yet, but I will. I promise to myself I'm gonna finish this. And I think that's it. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. And if you want to do more, see more videos like this, please subscribe. And we have links in the description. We have Skillshare classes. And if you want to support us on Patreon, I'll also leave a link below. That's it. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you on the next video.